Welcome to Differentiating Assignments in Google Classroom with the amazing Inkie Landry. You're gonna fall in love with her. Just don't become a stalker. All right, so we're gonna hop on into some announcements before we get started. I'm Dr. Desiree Alexander. I am the founder, CEO of Educator Alexander Consulting, and I am the Regional Director of North Louisiana for a nonprofit called APEL. So welcome, hello, this is how you can contact me. Yes, you do get a certificate of participation if you're watching us live. If you're watching us on YouTube, unfortunately, you do not get that, but you do get to hear the amazing information. And if you scroll right under this video, in the description and you click show more, you will be able to see the resource that Inkie gave us today. So you still get the amazing resource. So some upcoming webinars next weekend. Oh my gosh, two on the same day. You get templates for teachers from the amazing Sarah. I need to just that should be her name. And Beth Kingsley. So she's bringing a friend along, and Beth is amazing as well. So we have Sarah and Beth coming. Guys, if you have not seen templates for teachers, I'm not even gonna say anything. You want to be there. That's all I'm gonna say. It's gonna save your life. You want to be there. And then if you're using Canvas, especially I know some of us are switching to Canvas and we're brand new at it, you want to come get these tips and tricks from the incredible Ruth. Both on the same day. The first one's at 11 at our normal time, and the second one is at 1. So then we have the lovely Nadine coming to teach us about teaching digitally. We have Sarah coming on back for Intro to Wakelet. These are both later on in this month in September. And then we only have one in October, and that's Sarah again giving you another intro to We Video. Then we hit November, and we have Nadine coming back for tech abilities for struggling readers. And then we have Tanya kind of early kicking off her series that she's going to do for us next semester, all about mindfulness. So she's going to be doing one a month next semester, and she's kind of kicking us off early before Thanksgiving to really think about that mindfulness for educators. So we also have virtual ed camp, Louisiana. You don't have to be in Louisiana to come. You better get in here from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Come join us, celebrate education. It is completely free. And I do have some of those BER sessions that you love so much coming up about distance learning and distance learning in the ELA classroom. A lot of them are coming back in October. I have the dates. They're just not on the website just yet, but they'll be there sometime next week. And I go through this very quickly because there's all one link to register. The link at the bottom is where you can go to register and find out more information about all of those webinars. At the end, we will have an evaluation if you're watching us live. The evaluation is not set up yet because I'm not sending it out until 15 minutes before the session ends. So, you know what? Enough of me. I'm going to stop sharing my screen because we want to hear from Inkie. That's why we're here today. So Inkie is going to share her screen while I do some more shout outs from the chat. We have Slidell, Louisiana, that slid their way in here. We have New Jersey and Glenn, Louisiana. Hey, Jill, how are you doing? So guess what? It is time. Look, Indiana's like, don't forget me. Hi, Indiana. It is time. It is time. I'm being quiet. Inkie, take it away.
Thank you, Desiree. I appreciate it. Whoa, wait a minute. Hello, Inkie. Present. So today, I'm Inkie Landry. I work in St. Tammany Parish in Louisiana. We have parishes, not counties. We're in Napoleonic law. And it's near New Orleans, right north of the city. But I'm from Cajun country in Louisiana and a small town called Erath in Vermilion Parish. So sometimes when I get excited or if I don't even think about it, my accent will get a little thicker. So I just want y'all to know that that's the accent. And I want to really thank Desiree Alexander for having me here today because she does amazing webinars and she presents amazing webinars with other people. And I just appreciate her sharing her knowledge. In fact, some of the things that I'm sharing with you today, I learned from her. So I work as instructional technology coordinator. I was in the classroom for 19 years, and I was a technology or I've been a technology coordinator for 25 years. I'm also on the LAQ board, that's Louisiana's technology board, Louisiana Association of Computer Using Educators. Membership is free, and there's a bunch of resources there. In fact, Desiree was on the board at one time too. So feel free to join at laq.org if you would like to. But I've also been working with computers for over 40 years. And if you see my little emoji with a crown on it, it's because I feel like Queen Elizabeth. You know, we both old, but I was also a queen of a crew of a groovy Mardi Gras crew here. So anyway, that's why I stand. So why should we differentiate our instruction? Well, as you all know, just like adults, students have different learning styles. Some are visual, some are auditory, some are kinesthetic, whatever. So if we can meet all the learning modalities of our students, we're gonna also help them. And then you want to shake it up. You want to give students a variety of learning experiences. Sometimes you want them to expect the unexpected from you so that it's not the same old same. So one of the ways that I use to differentiate assignments, especially in forms, is and material too, is with emojis. So I have 4 sites that I use to get different emojis from, and I'll be using one of them today when I do the demonstration. So in today's agenda, I'm going to show you how to use the emojis, how I use them to differentiate instruction. I'm going to show you how you can select certain students for your materials, your assignments, and your posts. I'm going to show you how to schedule assignments with or without due dates, how to put pictures and banners on forms, how to insert videos and images in forms if you need to do that. And I have samples. I have a sample of that. I'm going to also have access for you to see how to put a password in a form and how to do branching. And I'll first learn how to do branching in forms from Desiree. I don't know if we're going to get to how to make all these things, but at least you have the forms made for you. And one thing that I've learned, because you know your drive is kind of like a closet, and it could be your junk closet or it could be a well organized closet. So I have found that when I make any kind of document, doc, slide, sheets, forms, whatever, I use the title of my document to be the same as the file name. And I have found that helps me a lot, especially when I have to search for stuff. So here's a resource page that I made for you. And when you click on any of these, it's going to force you to make a copy unless it's a video, in which case you can just watch it. So some of these we're going to be looking at in the demonstration, and some of them I may not have time to get to all of them for sure. So they're there for you. And I want to thank y'all for coming. And there's there's my email address. I work in St. Tammany Parish, and I do have a work address, but our system in St. Tammany Parish is a closed system, so I can't share any material outside of my domain. So I have a personal Gmail account that I use to do outside work and get resources from outside of St. Tammany Parish. And just so you know, I've got this slide from Slides Mania, and they ask that you put this in there to give them credit. And that's a great place to get templates. I'm sure they're going to talk about that next week because that's a really, really good thing. So I want to do one more presentation for you quickly. So we'll be talking about this as we go. And this is just Google Forms tips and uses in the classroom. The presentation today is more for people who have already created a form, but it's kind of like somewhat beginner to intermediate. This is not an advanced presentation. So those of you who are very familiar with creating forms, a lot of this is going to be like, oh, how. So there's your icons, and there's what they do. And the preview icon is where you actually enter your data. I'm sure most of y'all already know all this. And that you can click on responses to see the responses in your spreadsheet, in your form as a spreadsheet, and then the gear wheel is for your settings. And I'm not going to sit here and read this to you, but these are some little things that you may find useful for you. One of the things that's really convenient when you're doing multiple choice and I'll demonstrate it, you can actually type a list in your multiple choice on a docs, for example, and you can actually paste that in your multiple choice. And you're gonna read that later. And then here's some other suggestions. I have a sample here, a check-in form, like if your school is district is going virtual, some students have to check in every day and they may use Google Forms to check in. And there's a sample check-in form, like last name, first name, how are you feeling today? Do you have any things you want to share with me? Anything going on I should know about that'll keep you from learning, whatever. And then there's a little sample exit ticket too, in case you want to use that or get some ideas for that. Teacher Sherper down here is a website that somebody shared with me, and it has a lot of free printables for teachers. And if you search for exit tickets, there's a lot of forms that are exit tickets, and those are nice too. And again, there's just information. I got this from Dr. Bruce Ellis from attending a TCA webinar, and this was his suggestion of what to use in forms for different things. And also the question in classroom besides the forms is also good to use for exit tickets and check-ins. And here's your general form settings. We're going to be talking about them when we go through the form. You won't see this right here, restrict to users in St. Tammany Parish, because unless you work in St. Tammany Parish, and I saw several of my co-workers here. Yay, thanks for coming. And then there's the presentation settings. Y'all can see there's 3 tabs: the general tab, the presentation tab, and the quiz tab. And this is your quiz setting. So this is what we're going to be focusing on today. We're going to make sure that you know what the settings, different settings do for quizzes. And then there's going to be some tips for shuffling questions, and I'll be going through that when I make the form for you. And then we're going to also do sections in quizzes, and sections are very important when you're doing branching and shuffling questions. And here's a video demonstration of how to set up branching in a form. If we have time, I'll demonstrate that. If not, you have access to it. And then here also is another video of how to put a password in a form, but I'm going to be demonstrating that to you also. And that's it on this one. So now let's go and actually make a form, and I'll show you what steps I use to differentiate. One thing that I've learned to do and made myself do is I get into the folder where I want the form or whatever document I'm making to reside, as opposed to just going to my drive. No, I know I'm doing this for Desiree, and I have 2 folders in here, and I'm going to do the presentation folder, and this is the folder that you have access to all the material in here. So because I'm demonstrating how to differentiate on a form, I'm going to put it in this folder. So we'll just go to New, More, and we're going to make a Google form. And I'm just going to say, yep, put it there, share it with everybody. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to call it Quiz Template Or. So or is going to be, in my head, that's going to be regular education students. So I'm going to differentiate between my regular education students and my special students. Special students may need extended time. They may need to take the quiz more than once. They may need less choices in their in the multiple choice. They may need less questions on the quiz. So the first form that I'm going to make is going to be the Quiz Template Or. You have the ability up here to change the theme. So you can say, okay, I know that if I'm going to do regular ed, I'm going to do like jelly beans. So anytime I see a regular ed quiz, I'm also going to be associating it with jelly beans. That's an optional thing, whether or not you want to do it. And I'm going to click up here to make sure that the title of my form matches the title of the quiz here. And I'll put the word quiz in here so that it's a way for me to do an extra reminder that it's a quiz for the students. You may not need to do that. Another thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to emojicopy.com, and I'm going to get something red to associate with regular ed students. So I'm going to scroll down here, and I know that there's a red ball. So I'm going to click on the red circle ball, and whoops, that one. And then I'm going to click on copy, and I'm going to go back to my template here, and I'm going to paste the red circle or ball in it. And I'm also going to do it in the title. So it's a visual reminder to me when I see the red ball circle, I know that that's associated with my regular students. Then I'm going to put in the questions in this form that I know will be on every form. And that's going to be their last name. So I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to put in last name. And notice Google, it automatically knows its short answer. I'm going to make it required, and I'm going to duplicate it because I know I'm going to also do first name. And that's so I can sort by first and last name. So that's done there. If you're making a password in a quiz, you want that to be a section by itself, and you want names to be a section by itself. So what I'm going to do right here, I'm going to make a section. Well, actually, before that, I think I'll go over the settings with you. So I'm going to click on the settings in the gear wheel for form, and that these pictures are the ones that I had in the presentation too. So the first thing you want to do is, if you're doing this for adults, you can collect email addresses. Since I'm doing it for students, I don't need to do that because I'm going to have their first and last name. If this is regular education students, you probably want to do limit one response. And they'll have to sign into Google, but like in our system, the students have a Google account, so that's taken care of. Whether or not you want them to edit after submit, I would not want my regular education students to do that, because as soon as the quiz is over, they're going to go share questions and answers with each other. Whether or not they see summary charts and text responses, that's up to you. But for sure, in regular education, I'll limit to one response. In the presentation settings, the progress bar is optional. I always shuffle questions because I have sections. I have a section for the names, a section for password, and then a section for questions on the quiz. Show link to submit another response. Since they're only going to have one response, that's not going to be there. Your response has been recorded is the confirmation message. You can customize this by just typing whatever you want here. On the quiz settings, if you're making a quiz, it's critical that you click the quiz button, because that way you can go in and put right and wrong answers, and you can also go in and put points associated with it. So when you want the students to see their grade, if you wanted to see immediately after each submission, that's for you. I normally like to do later after manual review, because if you're using check boxes for one of your questions where, like, check the characteristics of a tiger, and it's a carnivore, it's got a long tail, lives in the jungle, it's a plant, it lives in water, and the students have to check the correct responses associated with that. If there's 3 correct answers and they only put 2, Google will grade it wrong. But if you go in and manually check it, you can give them partial credit for that. Whether or not they see the missed questions is up to you. In regular ed students, I usually don't do that because they will share all that with their friends, and whether or not they see the correct answer. So I would probably check this off for the regular ed students. So I'm going to save that. So my settings for this quiz or template is saved. All right, so then we're going to go in and we're going to put in another section, and this will be the password section. And the reason I'm doing that is if a student is absent and they need to take the quiz, I might go in and change a few of the questions for that student, or put some additional questions or whatever. So if I give a password for that student, then they know they have to enter that for the quiz and no one else can go in and take it for them. So what you do here is you put in another question here with the plus sign, and it's going to be a short answer. So you're going to say, type in the password, all lowercase, or whatever you do. Always use lowercase so they don't have to worry about the shift. Notice it automatically changed to short answer here, and also make it required. When you hit the three dots down here, one of your choices is obviously a description, and that's optional. You can give them a hint in the description. Hint, it's the mascot of your school, whatever. I don't give hints because I want to make sure that they're taking it on their own. So then you go to response validation, and here you check it and you choose regular expression, and then matches, and then you put the password that you want. And as a reminder, the video of making this is also in one of the resources, as well as obviously Desiree's recording this if you forget. So I'm just going to put school as the password. You can put a custom error message. For example, did you remember to use all lowercase? Or you can put a hint here if you want it. There's no points for this because it's just the password. Then you would put a third section here, and this section is where the questions start. Or you can say quiz questions start here. You don't have to put that. I'm just giving you a reminder. All right, and then start. So that can't spell. So then you would put the plus sign here, and you would start your first quiz question. But we're saving this as a template. So our template is done. So I know in every quiz that I'm going to give my regular ed students, I will have this for sure. Now, you have an option on the password. If you don't want to do a password, you have two options. You can, after you save the template, you would save it with the password, but you have an option later. Well, I'll show you the option later. It'll make more sense. All right, so we're done with the quiz template. So there it is, quiz template on. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to duplicate it or make a copy of it. And I'm going to rename it Quiz Template S for special students. So I'm going to take the copy of off. I'm going to put the S here, and I'm going to change the color of the dot. So I'm going to go back to Emoji Copy. I'm going to erase the red circle down here, and I'm going to put a blue circle. Now you can use any colors you want. Obviously, you can use your school colors, whatever. I just picked red for red. Mine. So I copied that, and then I'm going to go back here, oops, where I'm making the template, and I'm going to put the blue dot. So now I know whenever I see a blue dot or blue circle, it's my special students. When I do a red circle, it's the regular ed students. If anybody has questions, just say question. And I'm going to go right, oops, I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to also paste it in. So my titles match my title of my quiz.
Sorry, Inkie, I think you muted.
Okay, how's now?
Yeah, perfect. Just repeat what you just said.
About the blue circle.
Yeah, you were already here. It was just like 2 seconds.
So I have the blue circle for my special students. I have the blue circle for the title, and I'm going to go change the settings for the special students. All right, so collect email addresses, that may or may not be something you want to do. Where it says limit to one response, I'm definitely going to take that off because some special ed students take more time to take quizzes, so I'm going to let them come back. So I will let them edit after they submit. Whether or not you do summary charts and text responses, if you want them to see it, I usually don't do that. Sometimes I'll show that as a class. So we talk about graphs and we do some little math stuff. In presentation, whether or not you show the progress bar, that's up to you. Shuffling the question order, that's okay. Show link to submit another response. I'll leave that on for special students so that if they didn't, because you know that if you don't finish a form, you can't save it. So you have to submit whatever you've done. So if they have not finished the form, they can submit it, and then there's the link for them to submit another response. And then you can give them like, kudos, you're doing great, keep going, or whatever you want to say. And then in quizzes, it's a quiz later after manual review, and whether or not you want them to see the missed questions and the correct answers. If you're using this form as a review for a quiz or review for LEAP or whatever your state testing is, that would be something valuable to have, the missed questions and the correct answers. So as students are studying for a quiz or a test, they would have that on. So again, think of the purpose of your form. So then you save it. So we have the S, we have the blue, and I'm gonna change my top. So I'm gonna look at an image and I'm gonna change it to maybe the pencils. So I know if I see the candy, uh, then it's my regular students. If I see the pencils, it's special. Now you can also customize your headers or you can leave them off. It's up to you. Some students like to see the multiple colors. So again, that's a choice you can decide on. So now if we look in the drive, we have the template for the regular students, we have the template created for the special students, and we have settings that are different for each quiz form. So now it's time to give a quiz. So I want to give a quiz on math facts. So I'm going to go to my regular students and I'm going to right click, and again, I'm going to make a copy of it. And it's going to be renamed, and I'm going to call it quiz, and I'm going to say math facts. I'm going to take the or off and say okay. All right, so now I'm going to go into my math facts quiz, or you can put chapter 1, unit 1, the standard, the whatever you want to call it that's going to be relevant to you. I'm just doing math facts. Again, I'm going to rename this so that it matches the title of the form. Whoops, okay. So we're going to go here. If you didn't want to do a password here, what you can do, two options. You can delete the section, but remember it's still in your template, so if you want to use it again, it's there. You can delete the section, or you can also not make it required, so no matter what happens, they will continue on to the next section. So again, it's up to you on passwords, but you do have the two ways to change the password. So quiz questions start here. So if you click on that section, any section, anytime you click on the plus sign, it will always put that question underneath what is selected. So I'm going to add a question here, and that question is going to be, what is 6 times 7? All right, so it's multiple choice, so I'll put in some choices. So I'll put 6 and 7 and 13 and 42 and 24 and 1. So I have lots of answers here. I'll make it required, and I'm going to go into my answer key here and select the correct answer. I can also do answer feedback. So if it's incorrect, I can send them with a link to Zern or their math textbook or anything or whatever topic I'm covering as a review. Or I can actually choose a YouTube video. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to type in multiplication facts. And I'm going to let YouTube give me some suggestions about practice on multiplication facts. I caution you to make sure you watch the video to make sure it has relevant content. So I've already seen this one, or you could actually play it right here and watch it to see if it's one. Correct answers, I'll say, great. I can tell you have been studying your facts. And save it. So again, answer feedback is optional, but it's another way to differentiate instruction where you're sending kids to get review and different places to get review. And I'm not going to continue on making questions because I want to make sure I get to cover other things. But you can see, you just keep on adding a question, put in the next question. Do whatever feedback you want, if any, make sure you choose the correct answer. Oh, I did forget to do something right here. I forgot to put how many points that question is worth, and it can be any amount of points. Because you want the computer to grade the quiz for you and give you the score for the student. All right, so I've done the quiz for my regular students, and I'm going to go back to my drive, and now I'm going to right click on the special ed students. I'm going to make a copy of it. I am going to rename it, and it's going to be Quiz Math Facts. So they have the same name for their quiz as the regular education students do. So I'm going to open it up again. I'm going to rename it so the titles match. I'm going to go in here. The settings are all there. Again, I have an option of whether or not to do a password. I'm going to click on the third section, and you can change the title right here. Read the problem carefully, take your time to do your answers, anything you want to put. So I'm going to put in the first question. And this question is going to be, what is 2 plus 3? So again, I can make the problem, or I could do 2 times 3. I'll do 2 times 3, so it'll still be, now I'm going to do addition to show you something different. 2 plus 3, again, it's multiple choice. I'm going to put in 2, I'm going to put in 3, I'm going to put in 5, 6, and 10. I'm going to go in and put in the answer key. Again, I'm going to make this however many points I want, put in the right answer, and give answer feedback. So for incorrect feedback, again, going to YouTube, and I'm going to look for addition facts. And John Hartman comes up with one, and it's cute, and he sings. So I'm going to select it. And then for correct feedback, I'll say, great. You are doing wonderful, or whatever feedback you want to say, and save it. So I have correct answers feedback, incorrect answers feedback, the correct answer selected, the point selected. I'm ready to do my next question. So you would just do all this, add as many questions as you want for the quiz, and you have your math facts quiz saved. One for your regular education students and one for your special education students. Is there any questions?
No questions right now. We had 2 and they were answered, so you are good to go. We have about 20 minutes.
Okay. All right, so how do you differentiate this instruction? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Firefox. Oh, I'm in Firefox. Okay, I'm going to go to Firefox, and I have a classroom set up here because I couldn't make a classroom to show for the demonstration for y'all. I have to use a classroom that I have in St. Tammany. So I'm logged in as my St. Tammany account so I can show you this classroom. So I have my classroom created. This was a classroom that we actually used to train teachers in St. Tammany, but we're going to pretend it's for regular students. So I want to assign these quizzes to students. So I'm going to go to create and I'm going to do assignment. So I am going to give it a title. I'm going to use the same title and I'm going to click add. Now I had to create this quiz again in my St. Tammany Parish account. Because I can't share between them. So it's the same quiz. Um, Lock mode on Chromebooks can only be used if you're on a Chromebook and every person on that's taking the quiz is on a Chromebook. So I'm going to leave that. But here's where it's really, really cool. You can go here and you can choose which students take this quiz. So if this is for regular ed students, I know that these two students right here, they are my special students. So I am not going to have their names selected on the quiz. So I'm going to uncheck their names and know that only these 4 students are taking the quiz. I also can give it however many points the quiz is. I can give it a due date. And for regular ed students, I usually always recommend a due date. Um, so let's say I want them to do it by the 16th and by midnight. I can put it in a special topic, anyone that I have here, or I can create a topic on the fly. I would probably have a topic for the week and it would be going into that weekly topic. I probably wouldn't put a rubric, but you do have that option. And then I click assign it. So now only those students who I selected will see this math quiz. Then I go in and I make another assignment. Notice I'm not using a quiz assignment. And this time I'm going to take the special students. Let's go to this. Oh, that would be the blue. Hang on. So this would be my special students. And again, I would go here and say, no, it's only these 2 students. And maybe my due date will not be the 17th. Maybe I'll give them an extra week to do the quiz. Maybe I'll assign it. I can also have scheduled it to appear at a certain time.
Inky,
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I'm trying to say, what are we supposed to be seeing right now?
Oh, you're not seeing my screen? Uh-oh, I thought when I switched browsers that, I thought Zoom switched with me.
And it took me a second to realize it's
Okay, let's see, let me find it, here it is. All right, I can redo what I did, that's not a problem. All right, share. Okay, let's see, new share, I'll just do new share.
okay.
Firefox. Yes, try this.
Okay, we can see Google Classroom now.
All right, so now you see this?
We see Google Classroom. It says Quiz Form Demo 5.
No, you should see classwork for the Q cares.
Oh, yeah, that's what we see. We're good.
Good. Yeah. Quiz form demo S. Okay. So let me change this. So what I did was,
So if you can start, I think it was about 2 minutes that we weren't seeing what you were doing.
okay.
Everything in Google Classroom.
All right. I'm going to delete it and start over. Sorry about that. See, sometimes Zoom moves browsers with you and sometimes it doesn't. And I thought it did. All right. Sorry about that. All right, so what I'm going to do is this is the classroom that I'm teaching in, and I'm going to assign those 2 quizzes. Now, I'm logged in St. Tammany because the classrooms that I teach from are in St. Tammany. So I had to just redo the quiz. One thing I want to point out is I suggest to the teachers never to do quiz assignment because you want to have the quizzes already set, your templates made, and so forth from the quizzes. So don't do quiz assignment because it makes you do it on the fly and you can't copy something you've already done. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go do my assignment for my regular students. So there's the quiz, red math facts, and I'm going to put the quiz here. I can also paste the red emoji here if I wanted to further differentiate it in my mind at least. And here is where you really get your differentiation. These are my regular ed students. So when I go to all students, I take it off and I select just those students who need to take the regular quiz, who only get one response, who whatever settings I have, those are for my regular ed students. I can also, if I want, give them a due date, let's say Thursday the 10th at midnight. So they have until then to take the quiz. I can schedule it here if I want. I can say I want it to appear on Tuesday and then it's due on Thursday. So you have that option to schedule, or you can just assign it right away. So I'll just assign it right away. I didn't put it in a topic, but if I was doing this, it would be in my weekly topic. Then I'm going to do the next quiz, and it's also going to be an assignment, and this is going to be quiz math facts. But remember, this is for the special students, and so I'm going to look for the blue dot math facts quiz, and there it is. And again, I could paste the blue circle right here if I wanted to. For students here, no. I just want my two little babies right here, Mita Marie 1 and 2, who are my special students, and they need this quiz. So I select the special students. The due date may be a week later than regular students. Again, you have the option, change your points, however many points the quiz is. Again, you have a topic you can put it in or create one on the fly. Again, this would probably be a weekly topic or whatever. I can schedule it to be released on a certain date, or I can assign it right away. So you can change when it's released that the students see and when it's due. So I'm going to assign it to them. So I will see that there are 2 math facts quizzes, and I would definitely put the emojis in front of each one of these, so I would know that this, I know it's the blue, so I'm going to go find my blue circle again. It doesn't take that long to find your emojis. Or you can make a little slideshow and paste all your emojis in the slideshow, and you would have it there. Oop, wrong color. So one way is to keep all your emojis on one slide page, and then you can just quickly go copy and paste when you need to. So when you do that, you can quickly see, you know that this is special and this is regular. So that's, you've chosen your special students, you have different settings, and you have a different emoji to remind you who gets what quiz. And your students that are regular will only see the red button. They won't see that there's another quiz out for somebody else. So that's basically how I do forms. Now, if I'm in the stream, here's another way. If I wanted to share something like, don't forget to bring your Chromebook charged to class. Obviously, that would normally go to all students. But again, anytime you're posting something, pick what students get to see that post. So if you have students in your class that need to do makeups, or you have students that you know from looking at the responses from the quiz that they're struggling with a certain concept, you can say, hey, meet me, well, maybe not now because it's COVID, but meet me after school and I'll be happy to do a little tutoring session for you, whatever. So in the stream, just like in assignments or in the classwork, you can pick what students get what message. And what I just showed you with assignments also works with questions. You can pick the students for questions. and you can pick the students for material. So if you need to do a handout special for some students, there it is. Or if you need to give them a link to some extra websites, you can pick for those students. So just the key is look for the for and then drop down on all students, and you can pick and choose. Or like Sarah calls it, look for the short tooth. I like that. One other way that we differentiated quizzes before is in with audio. Some of our students, well, everybody's students, a lot of students in K1 and 2 are not real good readers. So I made a sample quiz with audio, and I'll show you how I did that, or I'll show you what I did. So when a student goes to see it, most students are born with the ability to know that if there's a triangle, they know to play it. So I
Hello,
made a
boys and
little
girls.
audio.
I just want to let you know that anytime you see this icon, that means you need to listen to the teacher's instructions.
So I made a video, and all I did was I used Screencast-O-Matic, but there's a lot of different ways to do videos. And I just put the capture of the screen around that little icon, and I made an instruction. So as the students are taking the quiz,
Click on the picture of the dog.
and I repeated it twice, and then they would come down here and click on a picture of a dog, and then here's another verbal instruction.
What is this a picture of? Choose the correct word.
So I showed a picture, and they have to pick a word. And again, which of these is not an animal? And then you can also insert a picture from a YouTube, um, picture from YouTube. And the reason why I had to do audio instructions is because when you're doing Google Forms, there's no way to put in an audio file. You can put in an image, and you can put in a YouTube video. So I had to make a YouTube channel, and I had to create a little video file, but it was only a picture of the icon. And how to create a YouTube channel is also in your resources. So Desiree, I think I'm about, oh good, I still have time left. So that's about what I was going to show, but I just want to remind people, let me do my new share. So do y'all see the differentiation screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Um, so all of the things that I showed you today are also here. I just found this the other day, a couple of weeks ago. Um, Apparently some students figured out that when they're taking a quiz, if they right click on the white part of the quiz form, on the side, the source code will come up, and they can scroll through the source code and leave and see what the correct answer is that the teacher has put. So how to keep that from happening is here too. That's what the prevent cheating is. And so there's a whole bunch of other resources, and one of them is from Sarah Kiefer, the amazing Sarah Kiefer. She did a Google Forms presentation with Desiree, and that's the link to it. And it takes it at another level. And gclearnfree.org is a free website that has all kinds of information, not just Google Forms, but there's a link straight to that. So I hope that you have found something useful that you can use in your classrooms with your students. And I hope that the resources that you have will help you too. You will see two things right here: Google Forms training by Danielle Barberi. She's one of our coaches in our parish, and she made two after school presentations, one on Google Forms and one on Google Slides. So I'll put both of them in here for you because they're very good. And this one takes it to another level too. And she used Google Forms a lot as a math teacher when she was teaching. So Desiree, that's about what I had to share today. If
Thank
anybody
you.
has any questions, I will be happy to ask.
And that's what I was just about to say. Thank you for leaving time for questions at the end. I appreciate that. So if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat, but I'm also allowing you to unmute yourself. So if you have any questions, please unmute yourself or put it in the chat.
Ooh, and I see that I didn't put in here how to do make a Google uh, YouTube channel. I'm gonna add that to here. I'll add that to here.
Thank you for all the amazing resources and for adding that.
Oh, you're welcome. I just finished it this week. Yay! I actually got 2 piles off my desk. I was so excited.
Last call for questions, everyone. Last call for questions. You
I,
can,
I I'm sorry, I have one question.
yes, please go right ahead.
I know how to use Screencastify. Would that be a substitute for YouTube, or is YouTube the better choice?
Okay, that's two different things. YouTube is where videos come from, and Screencastify is an app that you use to make the videos. The reason
I
I had to make a video as an audio file is because when you're doing a Google form, your only choice in the form is to add questions. Oh, import questions from another form. I'll show you that real quick. Or you can add an image or you can add a video. So you can't put an audio file. And for your students who are non-readers, they have to basically have the quiz read to them.
I
Now,
understood that. What I meant was, does that video file have to be YouTube, or could I use a Screencastify video that I make myself?
I'm sorry. Good question. It has to be a YouTube video or a link to somewhere.
Okay, thank you.
Very
And
good
you
question.
can actually, you can put your Screencastify video directly on YouTube on the side panel where you go to downloading Screencastify. There's a button to put it directly on your YouTube, and then you'll have the URL to put there.
Right.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you for pointing that out, Desiree.
Oh, no problem. And you have another question. Would you use lock Chromebook mode on quizzes?
Yes, but only if the teacher and the students are using Chromebooks. Because if you go to grade a quiz and you have a computer and your students are on the Chromebook, you won't be able to see it. Every person associated with that quiz has to be on a Chromebook. It's wonderful because lock mode means they can't leave that quiz to go search. Now, they're gonna take their smartphone out and they're gonna go look for it on the smartphone. But again, at least in a classroom where you can monitor the students, it's a very good thing to have.
Okay, and we have a tip from Sharon DeWitt. Inserting an audio file with questions, directions is also an option. The Chrome extension Talk and Comment is great for this.
Oh yes, we we have we don't get extensions added in St. Tammany as fast as we'd like. Let's put it that way. But yes, that would be great. Yes.
But do understand the way Inkie showed is embedded into the form. So the student does not have to leave the form. So if you are using locked mode or something like that, it won't be a problem. When you use talk and comment, it gives you a link, which is still awesome. You can put the link in the directions or the description, but it does, if you put a link, it brings you somewhere else. Sharon, when you put the link for talk and comment, does it bring you somewhere to hear the file, or can they hear it right there on the form? I like talk and comment. I've just never used it with forms. So we'll wait for Sharon to answer that. And do we have any other questions from anyone before we wrap up?
Desiree, if I have 30 seconds, I think I do. I wanted to just point out importing questions. So once you, if you want to import questions from anything, so if you have like a sample student survey or something, you can pull it up here's an exit ticket I made. You can actually just click questions to add in. Now, again, I would make my template so I have my last name, my first name, my password, whatever. But then, as what some teachers I know in St. Tammany are doing, they're sharing a classroom with just teachers. And one of them is making a quiz form with the questions from chapter one. Another one is making a quiz form from the questions from chapter two. So when they get ready to make a quiz, they can pull up those master quiz forms with 20, 30 questions in it and pick several from each one. And they can pick these 5 for these regular students and another 5 for special students. So know that importing questions from another quiz that's made is a wonderful thing where you get to just pick whatever.
Thank you for that last tip, Inky. So I do have the answer from Sharon. She says that the extension talk and comment converts the link to a little icon and they can just click it on the form. So I love that. Great tip. And we have, I think, one last question. How will you give reading write the option on a quiz form? So I think they mean, how would you have reading write read the quiz?
Right. In St. Tammany Parish, we have the read write. Let me see if I can pull it up. The read write is installed, and so I'm logged into my St. Tammany account in Firefox, so the extension's not there. But those, when you're in Chrome, you know you have the little icons at the top, like there's my Bitmoji, there's my read write. You just click on it, you sign in with however it's marked in St. Tammany, it's with Google, and you can put your cursor in the front of a sentence and hit the play button, and it will read that to the students. So if you have Read Write app installed, you can have that read to the students. But again, you don't want to do it if you have a picture and the students have to say what the picture is, of it. You don't want to like give away the answers like that. You have to be careful when you're using Read Write.
Thank you. So that's 2 extensions that were just suggested, the talk and comment extension and the read and write extension. And go right ahead, Inky.
There's another one called Docs to Forms where you can type it. We don't have it yet, but we've requested it, where you can type your questions in a doc and it will automatically convert those questions into a form.
And that is an add-on, correct?
I think so.
Yeah, so that's an add-on. And what is it called again?
It's in the docs, yes.
What is the add-on called again?
Docs to TO form.
Okay, so just in case you're listening. And then there's another extension, voice in voice typing. And what that allows your students to do is actually click on it and talk their answers in. So if they have an essay or anything like that, they can actually talk their answers. So voice in voice, like in voice typing. So some good extensions. Thank you so much. And we do have, let's see, okay, so we'll talk about that later. Okay, so thank you so much, Inky. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you. I thought of one more, Desiree. Immersive Reader. Isn't that part?
Yes.
Yes, and that's free. That's one too that will work.
Okay, so thank you so much, Inky. All the resources are just amazing, and just you taking your time to go through them and letting us know. Just seriously, thank you so much.
Well, you're so welcome. Thank you for having me, and I hope I've helped somebody do something different with differentiation.